Sometimes we hear many foreigners say, at least let me start from somewhere, even though it's a cleaning job, just to renew my work permit. Hello lovelies, welcome back to Heleric's World. If you are new here, my name is Helen and you are welcome to my channel. In today's video, I will be addressing a harsh reality that no one seems to be talking about. Moving abroad is one of the most adventurous decisions you can ever make in life. People have so much romanticized the idea of traveling outside their country that there is this perception that if you move abroad, you are surely going to be experiencing this sort of glamorous living, a life without challenges or difficulties, just as we see in the movies. This is the image that some immigrants show on social media, taking selfies in front of luxurious cars and buildings that don't even belong to them and claiming that they are their belongings. So most people literally believe that if you are overseas, then you are doing great. You are happy and without worries. This is not to say that moving to another country isn't cool. It is. It is true that it has its benefits, as this move will help you to grow as a person, and it is bound to teach you a lot about the world. But it is not as easy as you are made to believe. We often forget that everything that has upsides has its own downsides as well. So in today's video, I will be talking about some of the harsh realities of living abroad so that you can be well equipped and informed before making this life-changing decision of moving abroad. So without further ado, let's dive right into the video. The harsh realities of living abroad that no one talks about. Number 1, feeling homesick. Feeling homesick is basically one of the first reality that you will face as part of your process of settling in a new environment. Virtually everyone who has moved from one country to the other has experienced it. This feeling usually starts from the first few weeks or months of living abroad. When you just arrive into the country, there are obviously lots of fun and exciting things to see and do. Basically, you will be busy trying to settle down, do your unboxing, visiting places of attractions around you. Then, after a while, you definitely start missing your friends, families, and beloved ones. Another thing that triggers homesickness is loneliness. Except you are one of the lucky few who moved into the country with a family member or a friend. If not, you'll be missing having to share your joy, your pains, and other experiences with someone. Now you are in a different reality, so you may not want to call your family back home to avoid them being anxious or worried about the difficulties that you might be passing through. The next one is being absent when your family needs you the most. The longer you are away in another country, the more difficult it is to stay connected with others, even though the present day technology and social media has greatly helped to curb the problem of distance. But when it comes to being present in person, a lot of reasons such as lack of free time, money, or even documents can make the journey back home impossible. And this could make you miss out on birthdays, graduations, and other important life moments of your loved ones back home. On several occasions, I have missed the weddings, graduation ceremonies, naming ceremonies, or some other important events of my family members, just because of distance. A friend of mine had to miss being by the bedside of her dying father. Among the siblings, she was the only one who did not witness the father's death, as she couldn't make the journey back to her country, something that still hurts her till date. In this situation, there was nothing she could have done from 1,000 miles away. The third on my list is language barrier. If you do not have the privilege of moving to an English-speaking country or a country where you know the language very well, or probably you don't even speak it at all, no matter what the case is for you, the language barrier can make a lot of things less convenient. So I will recommend you learn the language in advance before coming into the country. If you have been watching my videos, you would have heard me talk about efforts I made to learn French language when I first moved into Switzerland. Even though I studied in an international environment, a private university where the language of instruction was English, I still had to communicate with the locals in French at the shops, train stations, and offices. It can be a difficult experience if you do not understand what you are being told or what is being said around you. It may not be too funny at the beginning, but I promise you, it is a matter of time you will understand and speak the language. Now, talking about communication, this takes me to the next point, which is difficulties in finding jobs. In some countries, there is a law that foreigners can only be considered for a job if they could not find locals that can occupy that space. So it makes it quite challenging for job seekers who are immigrants to find jobs. So oftentimes we hear many foreigners say, at least let me start from somewhere, even though it's a cleaning job, just to renew my work permit. Sorry, I am not saying cleaning job is not a good profession. I'm only referring to someone with good academic qualifications ending up cleaning the streets. And you would all agree with me that this could frustrate the fellow if he or she has to continue with that job for several months or years. By the way, I made a video on tips and tricks to learn a foreign language. I will link it in my description box below and somewhere on the screen. The next thing I'll be talking about is adjusting to a new weather. Moving from a tropical zone to a cold region, for instance, can be quite overwhelming. While back home, we are captivated by pictures, postcards, and images of countries with cold climates, with snowfalls during the winter, which many people have not experienced and are so anxious to see. But the reality is different from the visual images you see. Winter period in places like Canada, Switzerland, and the Scandinavian countries can be quite harsh, long, and full of unexpected dangers. For instance, hailfalls and tripping on ice. Fortunately, there are some information and guidelines to educate people prior to moving into such countries. In one of my videos, I talk about my experience of tripping on ice when I newly arrived in Switzerland. But fortunately, I was helped by some kind individuals. It is a video you must watch. I will link it somewhere here on the screen. Now comes the sixth point, challenges of proper documentation. When you are moving into a new country, you will have lots of documentations to contend with, as you have to get a new SIM card, get registered in the area you live, get a health insurance policy, open a bank account, and the list continues. This process is very important and it is not something to toil with, because the lack of proper documents can cause you so much stress and time, and may cause you to even miss out on some other processes. Since regulations and laws are different from country to country, usually totally different from where you are coming from, so you have to get conversant with the new set of rules and laws and learn to adhere to them in the country where you have found yourself. For some people, this can be a source of stress, especially if you are coming from some countries in the continent of Africa, where you hardly have the need to get documented. But generally for everyone, it can be emotionally challenging. And if you have enjoyed watching this video, please like this video, leave a comment in the comment section below, and do subscribe to this channel if you have not yet done so. Love from Hilaric Sword.